begin with chapter number 7 from your history book of grade 6, and the name of the chapter is Jainism and Buddhism. Let's begin. The great preachers. Who are the preachers? The preacher means those who preaches or those who spreads some kind of messages, or you can say great thoughts, ideas and philosophies. They are known as the preachers. So we are going to understand the great preachers, those who have preached about Jainism and Buddhism. The religion in the early Vedic period we have already studied was based on natural, or you can say nature worship. Was simple and easy to follow. By the end of the later Vedic, however, religion became complex and difficult. Many evil customs means rituals, or you can say norms, which crept in society, means which developed in the society in the name of religion. In the name of religion, few section, or you can say the upper class people, started dominating the lower class people, and they started, the higher class people started taking special privileges, right? These are the evil customs. Through these evil rules they made for their own benefit on the name of religion and started dominating. Costly sacrifices, superstitions and elaborated and meaningless rituals destroyed the simplicity and appeal of original religion. So costly sacrifices, okay, the priest started saying that you have to do this kind of sacrifice, that kind of sacrifice. These are the rules, these are the norms, which are not at all included in the early Vedic period. All this crept up, developed up in the later Vedic period. Okay, and superstitions. What is the meaning of superstition? Superstition means, the things which are not based in any kind of fact, but we are having faith in it. Those kind of beliefs, or you can say those kind of things are getting followed. Like for example, if I say, if you're crossing, you're going by the road, or if you're crossing the road and you find there is a cat who have crossed the road, then suddenly everybody stops, right? No, we are not going to go ahead because the cat have crossed the road. If we go now, we might meet with an accident. This is a superstition, right? This is a superstition, because accidents don't occur by the cats. Accidents are occurred when we are not attentive, right? When we are not attentive, not following the traffic rules, right? Accidents happen suddenly, not because of a cat. So all these meaningless rituals destroyed the simplicity. The Vedic texts were written in Sanskrit, which the common people could not understand. The Brahmanas explained the text in the manner that increased their own power, wealth, and status. The rituals and rites introduced them by them led to the exploitation of the common people. That means common people is getting oppressed, is getting dominated now. Religion became expensive and oppressive. The caste system became rigid. We have already studied this in the previous chapter, how the caste system is becoming rigid. That is, in the early Vedic period, the son of a Brahmin could become a warrior, or a son of a Sudra could become a Brahmin through education. But now a son of a Brahmin will only become a Brahmin, not the son of a Sudra. The son of a Sudra will have to continue the same occupation which his father is doing. Right? So this is the caste rigidity. The lower classes, especially the Sudras, were increasingly isolated and persecuted. Isolated means they were, now this Sudra people, the lower caste people, this is the fourth and the lowest caste, which were helping the other three class or other three castes. They were getting segregated. They were getting separated in the society. They were behaved as if they were untouchables. They were kept aside from the main strata, main society. They were having separate location for living. They were having separate kind of place to draw water from, or maybe separate places where they could visit. Everything was getting separated for them. They were denied the right to study the religious scripts and were not even allowed to recite Sanskrit hymns. Okay, so they were not allowed to go through the religious Sanskrit scripts. They were not even allowed to sing any of the hymns, whichever hymns they used to like. Two great preachers came up at this time in the 6th century, and they are saying about the Mahavira and Gautama Buddha. Okay, both of them came up. Were born at this time in 6th century BCE. Both started reform movements. Reform is this kind of society where there is so much of rigidity, so much of evil practices going on. They are coming up with new kind of idea. Okay, what kind of reforms they are demanding for? Started reform movements as a reaction to the evil practices prevailing in the society in the name of religion. Their teachings lead to the emergence of two religious sects. One is Jainism and the other is Buddhism. Mahavira, Jainism, was preached by Mahavira. So, Vardhamana Mahavira is regarded as the most important teacher of Jainism. Mahavira was the 24th and the last, okay, Tirthakara, or the teacher, you can say, or the preacher of Jain. Okay, he was the last 24th one to preach Jainism. He was not the first one, or he was not preaching a new religion. He was the 24th preacher. He was born in 540 BCE in Kundagram near Vaishali. He was a Kshatriya prince, but he gave up his life of luxury and comfort. At the age of 30, he left home in search of truth and became an ascetic. So he left all his kingdom at the age of 30, luxurious life. He was a king. He left everything and came out in search of truth and became a preacher. Okay, he started preaching. Search of truth. Mahavira wandered from one place, that means he moved from one place to another in search of truth. After about 12 years of penance and meditation, he gained spiritual knowledge. So after 12 years of roaming from one place to another, he came to know what is the essence of life. He started meditating, he started following, he started searching for the truth. What is true? Is this the caste system, the evil practices? What are all this going on? And is everything followed in the society is correct? He was finding for all this. Mahavira became a Jina, that is conquered of self. That means he was having full control over himself. Okay, conqueror of self. His emotion, his thinking, his brain, his heart, his desires, everything started to become under his control. His philosophy is known as Jainism, and his followers are called Jains. Teaching of Mahavira. First thing is ahimsa. Ahimsa or non-violence. What is non-violence? Non-violence means whenever you are in trouble, you need not go and fight with somebody. No need to quarrel with anybody. That is violence. Violence means violence means shouting, violence means fighting. All these are coming to violence. Ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence, means you have to be in a peaceful way. Whatever problem you are having, you have to solve it out in a peaceful way, same as what Gandhiji have also told. Mahavira's teachings about ahimsa. Ahimsa or non-violence is the first great teaching of Mahavira. He preached that no one should harm any living creature, not even insects and plants. Sacrifices, yagnas and rituals. Mahavira did not accept the Vedas and opposed. Opposed means he is saying that whatever is getting followed here is wrong. Opposed all forms of religious rites and rituals. So he is totally denying and totally opposing. He is totally against the Vedas. caste system. Mahavira believed that all people are equal and did not believe in dividing people into different castes. God. Mahavira did not believe in the existence of God. So he is trying to say, being human beings, we have to help other human beings. Everything is God's will. This caste, how the rituals are getting followed, this blindless faith, this superstitions, all this is not the existence of God. Karma. Karma also we have studied in the previous chapter. Whatever you do according to your actions, that is what the return, the result you receive. A person's soul is reborn again and again because of his or her karma or actions. The highest goal of a person's life was to attain moksha. Moksha means freedom from the cycle of birth and rebirth. Moksha could be achieved by following the three rath or three jewelry of Jainism. The three jewelries is right to knowledge, right belief, right conduct, excuse me, which includes the practice of ahimsa and harm penance. Next, subsects of Jainism. In Jainism also we will find there are subsections. When Mahavira died at the age of 72, he had a large number of followers. His followers included Bimbisara and Ajatasura, the rulers of Magadha. After his death, Jainism was divided into two sects, that is two sections. Okay, Digambaras and the Sitambaras. The Digambaras did not wear any clothes and followed the original teaching of Mahavira. The Sitambaras wore white clothes and did not believe in the heart penance. The Jain monks who lived and worked in the monastery established by Mahavira, helped to spread Jainism to different parts of the country. They preached in Prakrit. Prakrit was the common language which was used by the common people at the time of India. Several kings adopted Jainism, like you can say King Ashoka. Okay, several kings adopted Jainism, and then state religion. Jain architecture and literature flourished under the patronage. The Dilwara temple in Mount Abu, that is in Rajasthan, is a fine specimen of Jain architecture. The religious literature of the Jains is found in the Purvas and the Angas. Jainism still has a large following among the traditional classes of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu.